Remember those old wizards and alchemists from history books, hunched over bubbling cauldrons trying to turn random junk into gold? For centuries, people were obsessed with the idea of alchemy, transforming ordinary metals into precious ones, unlocking the secrets of the universe and maybe even discovering the elixir of life. It was a mix of science, magic, and a whole lot of wishful thinking. But while those ancient dreamers never quite cracked the code, their wild ambitions set the stage for the scientific revolutions that followed. Fast forward to today, and the scene looks a little different. Modern scientists have swapped the wizard hats for lab coats, and they've got lasers, particle accelerators, and computers that would make any medieval alchemist's head spin. Instead of dusty old scrolls, they're armed with cutting-edge technology and a deep understanding of physics. But at their core, they're still chasing the same dream, to unlock the ultimate secrets of matter and energy. Here's the wild claim. There's a company out there called Helion Fusion Technologies, and they say their new reactor could do what ancient alchemists only dreamed of, turning one element into another and making nearly endless clean energy at the same time. It's a bold promise, and it's got the science world buzzing. Imagine a machine that doesn't just create power but actually transforms the very building blocks of matter, almost like modern-day alchemy, but with real physics instead of potions and spells. Helion isn't just another startup with a flashy website. They've raised hundreds of millions of dollars from investors who believe fusion energy could change everything, from how we power our homes to how we fight climate change. Their goal? To build a reactor that can generate more energy than it consumes, using a process that mimics the heart of the stars. Sounds like something out of a Marvel movie, right? The idea of harnessing the power of the sun, right here on Earth, feels almost too good to be true. But that's exactly what fusion promises, a nearly limitless source of clean energy, with no carbon emissions and barely any radioactive waste. It's the holy grail of energy science, and Helion says they're closer than anyone else to making it real. So, how does this modern alchemy actually work? Let's break it down. At its core, fusion is all about smashing light atoms together, usually forms of hydrogen, so they combine into something heavier, like helium. When this happens, a tiny bit of mass is lost, and thanks to Einstein's famous equation, E=mc², that lost mass is converted into a huge burst of energy. It's the same process that powers the sun and every star in the universe. But here's the catch. Getting those atoms to fuse isn't easy. You need to heat them up to mind-boggling temperatures, millions of degrees, so they move fast enough to overcome their natural repulsion. That's why fusion reactors are some of the most complex machines ever built. They have to create and control a miniature star right here on Earth without letting it melt everything around it. It's what powers the sun, but doing it on Earth is like wrangling a fire-breathing dragon inside a snow globe. The plasma, the super-hot, electrically charged gas where fusion happens, wants to escape in every direction. Containing it safely is one of the biggest challenges in science, and it's stumped researchers for decades. Helion's trick? They use super-strong magnetic fields to trap plasma that's hotter than the sun's core. These magnetic fields act like invisible walls, keeping the plasma suspended in mid-air so it can't touch the reactor walls and cool down. It's a delicate balancing act, requiring split-second timing and some of the most advanced engineering on the planet. Yes, you heard that right, hotter than the sun. We're talking about temperatures over 100 million degrees Celsius. At those extremes, matter behaves in ways that are hard to even imagine. But if you can control it, you unlock a source of energy that could power the world for generations. Now for the alchemy part, here's where things get really interesting. In theory, these crazy conditions inside a fusion reactor could also nudge atoms to change into totally new elements. By bombarding certain materials with high-energy particles, it's possible to create rare isotopes, or even transmute one element into another. It's not quite turning lead into gold, but it's the closest thing we've got to real-life alchemy. So, gold bars from thin air? Not quite yet. Experts say that tech is still way off and honestly, really expensive. The energy and resources needed to make gold this way would cost far more than the gold itself. But the real prize isn't precious metals, it's the ability to create clean, sustainable energy, and maybe even produce rare medical isotopes or materials for advanced technology. But if fusion works, we could get clean power for everyone, no wands required. Imagine a world where energy is abundant, affordable, and doesn't pollute the air or warm the planet. That's the dream Helion and other fusion pioneers are chasing. It could mean an end to energy shortages, blackouts, and the fossil fuel crisis. It could power everything from factories to electric cars and even help us explore space. So what do you think? Are we on the verge of an energy revolution, or is this just another wild science claim that's too good to be true? Some experts say fusion is still decades away, while others believe we're closer than ever. The truth is, no one knows for sure. But one thing's certain, the race to unlock fusion energy is one of the most exciting scientific quests of our time, and it could change the world in ways we can barely imagine. So, what's your take? Is Helian's fusion reactor the real deal, or just another chapter in the long history of alchemy and ambition? Hit like, subscribe, and let's chat in the comments, because the future of energy might just depend on the next big breakthrough.